biggest lies in chemistry. Let's consider that your chemistry teacher wrote on the board, all atoms want 8 electrons in their outer shell. You believed it, I believed it, we all did. But what if I told you right now, in the next 5 minutes, you are about to discover that this might be one of the biggest lies in chemistry. And it gets worse because there is another lie hidden in your textbook. One that tells you that you can always predict what type of bond will form just by looking at two elements on the periodic table. Both of these lies are taught in every class 11 and 12. Now let me ask you something important. How many of you have spent an entire chapter believing that the octet rule explains everything? For example, we say that boron wants 8 electrons, nitrogen wants 8 electrons, even carbon wants 8 electrons. But what happens when we look at a compound called boron trifluoride? By boron trifluoride, I mean BF3. Just one boron atom bonded to 3 fluorine atoms. Here, let me ask you, how many electrons does boron have? Around 8 in this compound. Well, boron has exactly 6 electrons. Not 8, not even close to 8, just 6 electrons. So either boron broke the octet rule or the octet rule is not the complete truth. Let me repeat it. So either boron broke the octet rule or the octet rule is not the complete truth. And here is the twist. It exists everywhere and it doesn't care about your textbook rule. Now let's go deeper. For example, consider phosphorus pentachloride PCl5. Count the electrons around phosphorus. We can see that one phosphorus atom is bonded to 5 chlorine atoms. That is 10 electrons. The octet rule said 8 electrons, but nature gave us 10. Now you might be thinking, okay, maybe heavy elements are exceptions. But wait a minute. Consider sulfur hexafluoride SFC. There are 12 electrons present around the sulfur, and these aren't exceptions. They are proof that the octet rule is incomplete. Here is what really happened. The octet rule is like a traffic rule that works for most cars but not for trucks. It works for most atoms but not for all atoms. Your textbook taught it as if it works for everything. But remember that it doesn't. The real truth is that atoms want to be stable. Stability doesn't always mean 8 electrons. Sometimes it means 6 electrons. Sometimes it means 10 electrons. Sometimes it means even 12 electrons. I mean, different atoms reach stability in different ways. Thus, octet rule is the first biggest lie. Now let's talk about the second lie. Your textbook probably taught you this. If the electronegativity difference between two atoms is less than 0.4, the bond is covalent. If the electronegativity difference is between 0.4 and 1.7, it is a polar covalent bond. Lastly, if the electronegativity difference is greater than 1.7, it is ionic bond. This rule sounds so definite. Now let me break this rule with two simple compounds. The first one is hydrogen fluoride. The electronegativity of hydrogen is 2.1, while the electronegativity of fluorine is 4.0. The electronegativity difference is 1.9. Now according to your rule, this should be ionic. This should be like sodium chloride. But is hydrogen fluoride ionic? The answer is no. Hydrogen fluoride is a covalent compound. I mean, it is a polar covalent compound. It has a real hydrogen and fluorine bond where we can measure the bond length, we can measure the bond energy, and it is not ionic compound. So the rule failed here. Now consider beryllium chloride. This time, the electronegativity difference is 1.5. Your rule says it is a polar covalent compound. But here is the reality. Beryllium chloride is a purely covalent compound. It is not a polar covalent compound. So we say that the rule failed again. Finally, I know some of you will write in the comment, but sir, these are just exceptions. The rule still works for most atoms. So let me be very clear about this. The octet rule works for only 7 elements: carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine. That's it. Now count the element it fails for: boron, beryllium, hydrogen, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, and the entire transition series, that is cobalt, copper, iron, nickel, zinc, chromium, manganese, and many more. So tell me, if a rule works for 7 elements but fails for 50% of the periodic table, is that a rule or is that a coincidence? These are not exceptions. Exceptions are rare. These failures are common, they are predictable, they are systematic, and that's the real lie.